Do we have the gold? Yes, gold shall destroy the Fed.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Politics will steal your soul, take your heart and leave a hole. No more care, no humanity. It's only black or white you see. What's right is right, and what's left is not. If it's truth you seek, then the lies are bound to believe. What's false means your mind's lost sight, 'cause what's left is left. When what's right is right, but we can rise above the fight, reclaim the soul they stole away, with hearts of red, white, and true blue light. We'll stand together, come what may, 'cause what's right is right, and love will win the night. We'll heal this land with open eyes, make America great again, under white skies. Hey!
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life.
I've just received a call from Secretary Clinton. She congratulated us. It's about us.
Our biggest enemy against that truth is the deep state. And we are on a mission to annihilate the deep state.
General Flynn, he's some general, he's some man. He took abuse like nobody could have handled, and he came out bigger, better, stronger than ever before. We love him. He's a leader. And you just stay wealthy and healthy and well and everything. I want you to have great lives in general. You just have to stay healthy, because we're bringing you back. We're going to bring you back.
Whatever happened to Gary Cooper? The strong, silent type. That was an American.
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself. The establishment has trillions of dollars at stake in this election. For those who control the levers of power in Washington, and for the global special interests, they partner with these people that don't have your good in mind.
$14,
13, 12, 11.
7, 6, 5,
Sir, we have a launch order.
3,
Put your hand on the key,
2,
sir.
1, launch.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Welcome to the 40K View, everybody. This is episode 58. I'm your host, Mark Messina. also known as 8-Track. Got a really fun show for you tonight. Before I get started, though, I want to do a thank you to Rumble for sponsoring and making these shows possible for us. Here's a little inside scoop that many creators are talking about behind the scenes. It's actually one of the reasons I'm using Rumble. They made a way to super chat creators so we get paid immediately and without any fees. YouTube and Twitch take up to 50% fees when you tip creators. This method takes none. That's right. The platform takes 0 fees. I keep nearly 100% of what you send me. You can super chat with Bitcoin, Tether USD, or even Tether Gold stablecoins. The tip will show up directly in the Rumble chat, and I will do my best to read it. All you need to do is download the Rumble wallet on the App Store and send the tips to your favorite creators. You can go to wallet.rumble.com, or you can download the app directly from the app stores. Seriously, what an amazing way to get rid of the middleman and help the creator economy. Shout out to Rumble for making this disruptive technology. All right, you guys, I'm excited for tonight's show. I feel like I'm the last kid on the playground to get to meet this really cool guy. I know you're all familiar with Matt Geiger from Veritymetals. Well, I just finally had the pleasure of meeting him last week. We jumped on the phone to talk about ways to support this show, and next thing you know, we were talking for over an hour about Q and pretty much everything else. So I am very honored tonight to bring to the stage Matt Geiger.
Thanks for having me, bro.
What is
good to
going
meet you?
on,
And I'm just like your viewers, man. I'm just another one of the people out there that's just trying to seek truth. I just happen to have a gold business, oh well. But it's a sleazy industry. Patriots can come to me for truth, for honesty, and that's that's what I make a business on. And we all get along. I'm here at my house, and I get a whole bunch of Patriots sitting out here by the pool over here. And it's like it's a love fest, man, and we're living it. We're in the new paradigm, and we have fun with it, man. This is what I'm about, and people know me. I have a great reputation, and it's great to be working with you, man. You do a great job too. Your show's been unbelievable.
Thank you, man, and likewise. Honestly, that's why I named my network Parallel 8 Media. We're creating the parallel economy, the parallel structures, the parallel news, the parallel entertainment, all those things. And what's just so cool is just to kind of like meet you. And then it's like, all right, here's another guy, independent businessman who also happened to like stumble onto Q, fall down the rabbit holes. And we really do have this like group, this like, look at the people out there in the chat right now. We've
soul
got an
family.
Awesome chat
It's soul family.
And it's just crazy what's going on. My clients now for my business where I do websites, digital marketing, all that stuff, they're all people from this world now. And it's really changed my life to know that every time I get on the phone with someone, every time someone's giving me money or I'm giving someone money, that we're all part of this ecosystem. I don't know. Like, has your world changed a lot in that regard?
100%. I used to work for these scumbag gold companies, but back then, back in the day, they didn't charge the commissions they charge now. These jokers out of Los Angeles, they're charging 100% premiums, 200% premiums. They're literally stealing people's money. And I look at it and I'm like, and back then it wasn't like that. We took a good percentage, but it wasn't like it is today. The people that I did business with years ago, they're way up right now. I can feel good about that. But I just saw this industry and it's totally unregulated. You got to be very careful who you deal with. Back in 2018, early 2018, when I woke up, I heard about the JFK Jr. rumors. And my aunt was the original publisher of George Magazine.
Right. That's so great. That's just so wild, dude.
So wild. So I'm sitting here, and I remember when I was a kid in the 90s, in 1995, I remember I was laying in my parents' bed. I can still see it in my eyes. And getting that Cindy Crawford issue. And I was like, what is this magazine? Just something hit me about it. And obviously, you're 9 years old at the time. I just turned 40. You obviously don't understand it. But to think now, and shout out to Rachel Rightside Blonde, who's a dear friend, doing the digs and just doing the work in terms of going through these things, decoding them, showing the information. It hits home. It's like Junior, though I never met him as a kid. I wish I did. There's times where we had just missed him that I found out about recently. But it's really cool that you're kind of 1 degree of separation, and here we are today with the whole Q movement, and it's an honor to be a part of it. And all I want to do is, from my business perspective, it's like, You come to me, you avoid these jokers, in all these places. We give you great advice. We give you great prices. We tell you the truth, and that's what I've made a business on, is just being a decent person. What a concept, right?
I know. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Yeah, Rachel, Right Side Blonde, is a dear friend of mine. We met years ago.
Very cool.
I think the Clay Clark Reawaken tour. That was
Yeah.
a big part of my journey coming into this movement.
Which one were you at? I was the one in Michigan where I saw her. Were you there?
I was at the one in Michigan.
Oh, so we missed each other.
Yeah, I was at 2 in Trump Doral. There was one in Vegas.
Okay.
There were others. There was Selma, North Carolina.
Yep.
That was a big one. We were able to talk a lot of our Patriot friends who weren't really part of the Clay Clark circle to go to that one. And it was just like this insane meeting of so many people who are, friends through this, but never met in person.
It's a lot of fun.
It really is just, it's really just incredible stuff. So I want to get your like origin story, not like you're a villain, but we're all sort of, whatever we are, we're different. By the way, I see y'all out there in the chat, fam. Thanks for joining us tonight. Please smash that like button. Do what you can to help me out with this show. Yeah. So what was like the first moment when you were like, all right, something's very wrong?
I mean, we knew that during the Obama years, right? We knew, when Obama won in 2008, I'll never forget it. I was living in New York City, and everybody ran out to the streets. Everybody's happy. And I was good with it. I was like, hey, you know what? I could get behind this guy. Hey, he won president. Let's support our president. Let's get behind this guy. And then you see what this guy does, just antagonizing anybody that didn't go along with what it's disgusting. It's just disgusting. And that was kind of the first point of my awakening. And obviously being from New York, years prior, 2001, I was still in high school, experiencing 9/11. I lived in Long Island, so I smelled those towers. I grew up in Port Washington, Long Island, and across the water, driving, it's about 20 miles, but across the water, it's only about 10 miles. So there's certain parts of my hometown that you could see the Trade Center. You could see the smoke billowing up. My whole town stunk. I can still smell it. I still smell it. You knew something was wrong. Fast forward to obviously, 2017, I didn't catch the first Q drops, but, maybe I should give her a shout out. But, Kellyanne, from Kellyanne Hubbs News, who just passed away, she and I had worked together for years. She promoted my business. We became great friends, and she just passed. And, obviously I'm, still mourning her death, and she's a phenomenal person. But I deferred to people like her for years to really make sense of these Q boards. There wasn't an absolute storm. There wasn't a news treason. There wasn't these different guys to come out at that time. A lot of you guys started in 2020. And, Jennifer Mack and Kellyanne were kind of the OGs, if you will, on those boards, and really made sense of it for us early at that time. And, I started to see this stuff, and like other people found it unbelievable. But if you looked at the information, you're just like, hey, this stuff checks out. This is Trump. Q plus is Trump. This is 100%. Like all you have to do is just pay attention to the info. I think what it is, it's hard for people to look at information that they're unfamiliar with. And no one wants to be labeled a conspiracy theorist, right? I'm happy to do it.
I love the label, dude. 26 years of being called I
embrace it, man. Embrace the tinfoil, folks. And then, of course, the junior rumors, and then, just different factors I won't get into, but I just said, hey, let's start collecting these George magazines. And I've amassed probably one of the best Kennedy collections in general, not just, junior, but also senior, of anybody you've ever met. Maybe we'll do an episode and, show off some of the stuff. And I want money for it.
We should get Rachel on. Rachel's a regular on my Friday Night Huddle, and I've done shows with her where we just talk about George magazine. It's so cool.
Rachel's the one person out there that's actually jealous of my collection.
Really?
Yeah. And she sent me my cat passed away back in 23, and she sent me the color. I named my new cat Tiffany that I got, and because she had blue eyes, Tiffany blue. And she sent me it's right over here, actually, right around the corner. But she sent me a handwritten, her poem that she did the video on. She hand wrote it, The Color of Tiffany Blue.
It's so cool.
And it just really, she's so wonderful. She sent me that at a time where I was just, hurt. That cat had been with me through some really tough times where I think I became a, kind of a man, if you will. And she did something very nice, and I think we can all relate to that. So, but anyway, I really got into this stuff and started examining the Q stuff. It all checked out to me. Sure, there's disinformation and things like that, and that's fine. But I look at today and I just sit here very relaxed. I don't stress anything. I trust our president. I think Trump knows what he's doing. I'm not worried about what's going on, but people should. As far as gold and silver, in terms of what I sell as a business.
Yeah.
I think what it does, it gets you out of the system. I think it gets you out of. People are going to experience loss. Things are going to collapse to some extent. It's not like everybody's going to lose their life savings and
Right.
da 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 da. But I think it is a great avenue to enhance your wealth, have access to your money, and be able to deploy that money when these opportunities present themselves. And I think these opportunities are coming very fast.
I hear you. Wait, I wanted to tell you something. We got time to get into all this stuff. We can go. So here, you tell me about your cat. I got to tell you about my cow. I have a cow called Tiffany Moo.
Does she have blue eyes or something? What?
No, I don't have a cow, but if I have a cow now, I feel like I will name her Tiffany Moo.
Tiffany Moo.
I don't know if you know my origin story at all, but when you were talking about being across the river and that smell, I was on 72nd and Broadway, basically between Broadway and West End, so right by the water, and I smelled that for 6 months every day because remember they didn't. Interestingly enough, the smoke at the Ground Zero didn't stop until they put in that water feature.
Right.
Remember that?
I do.
Do you know what the story is behind that?
No.
It's not a water feature; it's a cooling tower.
Interesting.
It's radioactive stuff under there. Either it's one or both of the nanothermite that they use, plus potentially some directed energy. I mean, if I had those directed energy and I wanted to make sure as it was falling, it wasn't going to destroy all of my other buildings in the neighborhood, why not hit it on its way down and really pulverize that? And you could time that just at the end of the implosion and just pulverize
Makes
that.
perfect sense to me.
Those pyroclastic, plumes that were going up. But they couldn't put it out because the half-life of that material is 50 years. So no matter what they did, it kept smoking. If you remember, they were always like dumping water, and then later that night, oh, the smoke's back. So they put the cooling towers in, and you know how it's a square with flat walls? That is for surface area because the water then picks up the radioactivity. It goes back over the surface area, which aerates it. And then they have trees, leafy green trees everywhere, which then pull the radioactive material, which comes out of the aerated water. It pulls it into the tree. They did the exact same thing at the Shanksville site, which makes me think they just hit the coal mine in Shanksville with a directed energy weapon.
Wow.
Because remember, it was smoking and they're like, oh, look, it looks good. But nobody believes that a plane got sucked into the ground, every inch of it and every person and every piece of baggage. Nobody believes that. But they had smoke coming out of that and they wanted us to believe it. And they have the exact same kind of water feature in Shanksville. Instead of those squares, they put rocks, big boulders, and the water rolls across the boulders, and the boulders all have trees over them, and it's on 24/7.
Wow. I've never heard that.
Yeah, I know, man. That's my big one. That's my origin story. I had Richard Gage on the show back in the day, and he's so great. And he gave his whole presentation on controlled demolition, and before the show, I asked permission. He let me debate him on whether or not there were planes because he thought there were. I don't think there were. And by the end of it, I think he might have started to question it for sure.
Wow. Yeah.
What's your take? Do you think there are planes?
I'm torn on that one, man. I see it both ways. I don't want to commit to something where like I go on record and it's like, yeah, there were planes and yeah, there were no planes. I'm like, I'll wait for the information. I'm the type of person who, like, I see reporting, whatever it is, whether it be 9/11 or something else. I'll wait for the full story to come out. Like Iran, like I'm not going to judge Trump and Iran. Oh, he's starting a war. They look what happened with Trump. In the early morning goes out and says, hey, we're going to blow Iran into the Stone Age, and then by the end of the day you have a ceasefire.
Right.
So it's like I'm not going to jump on anything, but I want to see the information come out. But I think what Q's done for me is it's made me extremely open-minded.
Yeah.
Look at the other side of the aisle. I mean, these Democrats, they think they know everything. They're experts on everything. They're experts in every field. It's amazing, right? They're just the smartest people in the world. What was so freeing to me was realizing that I knew nothing. but the willingness to learn and the willingness to sit there and be like, hey, I'll take on a different opinion, show me new information, and let's do it. Right. And then you get to the next problem, which is, well, who's telling you the real information? And that's where we're kind of at now, is like, we don't know who's giving us the real information. So I think when this information comes out, then I'll make a decision. Then I'll be able to say, hey, Mark, yeah, you were right. There were no planes. It was what you said.
It's crazy.
Or whatever happens to it.
It's like, one of the things that I think keeps a lot of people from starting their podcasts, and certainly for me, when I first started on a different channel, you always think you want to record because you're like, well, what if I say the wrong thing and I'm live? I realize now, like, so I'm on record saying something. If I learn new information tomorrow, I'll say something different. And I've been doing this for so long. It sounds like you've been doing it maybe longer. I've said so many things where I've had to change my tune, but I don't care. I'm not like, because I say something doesn't mean it's part of me. You know what I mean? But like, that's the thing with going live on these shows all throughout the week. Like, it just comes out of your mouth and it's out there forever. So, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, but you know what your show represents? It represents, I think, in part, therapy for people. I think it's people that are asking the same questions as you are, and they don't get to talk about it. Maybe there's somebody that works at a job or they're working around, they're a school teacher, and they have to deal with a bunch of freaking liberals and bite their tongue every day, all day, just to make a living, just so that they can support their family. And in a sense, that makes me feel like I'm lucky because I get to deal with nothing but patriots. I get, 100% patriot call, and liberals can call me too. Hey, I'd happily take their business, and we'll give them the same great insights and advice. But it's like, man, if you're stuck in that paradigm, that two-party, so whatever you want to call it, it's tough, man. And I hope we break out of that soon, because I think a lot of people are under a lot of stress having to deal with that on the day to day. And I my heart goes out to them.
Oh man, yeah. I'm seeing how the audience is reacting to this. I love these guys. Yeah, it's just been a journey, dude. I have no idea. We're gonna get into some topics in a little bit. I want to talk about, more about your background and stuff, but like the topics, I also want to, pick your brain on the things that are going on right now. But it's just like, at this point, I'm not concerned. Like, you kept talking about the liberals, and it's like, I never was like, I don't want to be friends with liberals, but like, I don't like the way they think, but they didn't want to be friends with me. Right?
Exactly.
So here it is. And now I've got the, I call them like normie MAGA. These were influencers that were friends of mine, but they're not really in the X world. They're not in our little corner, right? They're more like, they've got big, accounts on TikTok or Instagram, whatever they do, but it's different. And they tended to be very pro-Trump, but they weren't really rabbit hole. But what's interesting, and I feel like it has to be obviously part of the show and part of the plan, but it's frustrating in this period because they've all turned on Trump. And they're like, jump in my inboxes and be like, hey, Mark, is this part of the plan? Is this part of the plan? And when I would talk about the plan years ago, by the way, the answer is yes. Yes, it is literally all part of the plan. But when we first forged friendships, it was based on Trump and MAGA. They didn't want to hear about Q, and they didn't want to hear about conspiracy theories. But here's what they don't get. You know what they're posting right now? They're posting that they hate Trump, but now that Trump said Alex Jones and Candace and Tucker, they're all pro Alex Jones. So these people who made fun of me for conspiracy theories are now anti-Trump and they're posting Alex Jones. How do they not get that the joke is on them?
It's
right?
You know what? I don't fault them. I get it. It's the fog of war. That's what we're in right now. And it's okay. At the end of the day, as long as everybody, eventually falls on the same page, which is where I think this ends up. Right? I think we all end up on the same page. Hence, where we go one, we go all. We're all going to end up with, even the shit lips. Okay, they're going to eventually come to our side, because it's not about Republican and Democrat. It's about something way bigger. As long as those people come around, I'm good with it. We will help these people figure out reality. And it's believe it or not, I think they already know a lot of it. I think they're just living in denial. I think a lot of them are just trying to protect. We all want to protect our worldview. I'm very malleable. Like I'm like you. You show me new information, show me new facts, right? Whether it's a plane or it's not a plane, whatever the case may be. I'm down for whatever, man. Whatever I'm here for the truth. I'm here for the truth, whatever that may be. It could be freaking aliens, could be the reptilians. I don't give a shit. I'm here for the truth, and I suggest everybody else be, and I know your audience is.
I'm just letting the chat know. Penny put up a phone number. Penny, check the screen and the description of the show, because Matt gave me my own phone number. It's rolling at the bottom now. I just want to make sure you pin the right phone number up there for me.
Just tell him Mark sent you. You can go on the website. Just say, "Hey, Mark sent you." It's all good. We'll take care of everybody. We're patriots, and on that subject, patriots help patriots. And if I can help you avoid these other gold companies, these scumbags, these sleazebags, especially out of Los Angeles, let me tell you something. You're going to be very happy with us. You're going to be very happy with Mark.
Yeah, listen, dude. I mean, I want to get into all that because I still have questions we didn't talk about on our call, because I feel like, for the metals party, I'm a little late to the game, but I wanted to harp on that stuff you're saying about liberals a little more, if that's okay.
Sure.
I want to know your take on this. So this is something I've been pondering probably like the last week. I've been doing the processing. I don't know if you ever do that. Like sometimes you just got to take a few weeks and just make sure you processed everything from the past. And I think a lot of times we bury that shit down and then we move on with our life. And then something triggers you later and you go, oh, I thought I was more healed than that. Why am I this triggered? Well, that happened to me a couple months ago. And so I just processed. And I was sitting there thinking about, as you get older, because I'm still single, and it's like, it's a hard enough getting older and being single, because one, just age. And two, the older you get, everyone's more fixed in their ways. So that narrows down the pool. And then you got the liberals, and it's like, well, that narrows down that pool. That I'm not going to be dating liberals. And then the COVID vaccine came, and it's like, well, that narrows the pool because I can't date someone who got vaccinated. And I understand.
Wouldn't want to catch an STD.
I live in Vegas. That narrows down pretty much everyone, because I definitely don't want to catch one. Like I don't even date out here. I stopped dating in this town a long time ago because it's not safe. But so then you got the COVID vaccine, and to anyone who got it, you guys know, I know some people had to, but in general, it's not a risk I want to take, and it's, fundamental incompatibility. And now, you know what's made the pool even smaller? And this is crazy, is those GLP-1s and those peptides. Do you know how many people over the last 2 years, everyone I know in town, because everyone got heavy during COVID, or people already were heavy. Now everyone is like super skinny, and they're all taking like Ozempic, and the new one is like retatrutide. Bodybuilders use it. Do you know what those side effects of those are?
They're terrible. I know that. I'm no scientist, but I know that they're terrible.
In addition to not wanting to find out in 10 years that, the love of my life is their organs are going to fall out through their navel or something. It shuts down your hormone system. They each do a different one, but the net effect is you're not going to be able to love in a like hormonal way where you pair bond with someone for life.
Right.
It shuts down vasopressin, oxytocin. Like, can you imagine that you're doing this and you're like, oh, I'm so skinny now, I can go find the love of my life, and your brain doesn't have the capacity to actually really love anymore.
You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
This is the world we're in right now. It's
crazy, man. Crazy.
All right, well, what did you do before? Tell us before you started the gold company what you did, and lead into like sort of founding of Verity Metals, because I'm curious.
I had a nutritional company. I had a really good nutritional company. I actually worked at it for way back in the day. I got a job with if you can believe it, and this is funny, your viewers are going to laugh at this, but I actually worked for a male enhancement pill company. And I got there and I'm just like, this stuff, none of this stuff's working. It was just sleazy sales calls. I worked in this room of people, and I started looking at some of the nutritional line, and I was like, hey, this might be better for this person, even though it has nothing to do with like sexual performance. And eventually I did my research, and I got into things like polyphenols, which polyphenols are things that basically, instead of having anaerobic cell reproduction, right, without oxygen, it turns it into aerobic reproduction where the oxygen is. So metabolic disorders, cancer, diabetes, obesity, right? And I got in touch just by I don't know, maybe it was just lucky, maybe whatever you want to call it. I got in touch with this essentially like a pill maker, somebody that could customize the stuff with really like natural ingredients. And I started slinging this stuff. And I was taking diabetics and taking type 1 diabetes, not type 2, because type 2 is a little more permanent. But type 1 diabetics. These guys were getting off their insulin. They were getting off their medications. I had cancer patients coming to me for stuff. And like, I had to be very careful because I could never position myself as a doctor. You know, I want to get freaking raided or arrested. You know, oh, you're giving me. So I just said, hey, you know, this is stuff. I show them the research, and I had a pretty good business doing that. And, you know, during that same time, I was buying gold and silver. I was collecting. I was actually a collector of precious metals. I started buying like collectible stuff, and I enjoyed it. Like, I started learning the history of money and the monetary systems. And eventually I was just that guy who made me the formulas that I was doing. Just one day, he just disappeared. Bizarre. Never knew what happened to him. Just strange. And I wonder to this day, his phone's disconnected.
You still don't know?
What's that?
You still don't know to this day?
I still don't know to this day. Bizarre. But he was giving me literally the best stuff. I mean, pain gone. I mean, just putting together the ultimate formulas. And I was just slinging this stuff. You know, I had a customer base. People, I didn't like put people on auto bill, but people called me. You know, people be like, yeah, my wife needs more of this. We want to avoid chemotherapy. Send us more of X, Y, and Z. And it was unbelievable. It was like super cool. It was awesome. But that business kind of fizzled out. And I was buying precious metals. You know, I was kind of collecting coins. I was more of a collector at the time, more than a stacker or something like that.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. You know, I really liked it. So I got in the business. I was living in Los Angeles, and I wasn't there to be an actor or a musician. Believe me, I was there for the weather. It's probably one of the few people in LA. LA is a shithole, man. There's no sense of community. It's just people that want to, you know, become famous and get rich quick, whatever. And I started at a company, and I did really well with it because I knew my stuff. I knew what I was doing. And eventually I worked for a few different companies, one of which completely screwed people. And then eventually I was just like, hey, I'm going to go and do this on my own. I don't need these jokers. I don't want anything to do with these these immoral people, these unethical people. It's just people that just want to they don't care about you. They don't care about your audience. They don't care about these viewers, you know? And by that time I was in the Patriot community. I was learning the Q stuff. And I said, hey, you know, let me form my own business where, hey, if nothing else, these people that see me can avoid dealing with these jokers, whether they're in Los Angeles or anywhere else, where they're charging, you know, 50% premiums, 100, 200% premiums. I've seen it. It's disgusting. You know, they're taking grandma's, she worked her entire life. She's 75. She's got a $500,000 IRA. And her IRA now, when the gold company's done with her, is down $200,000. That gold company doing business with her took $300,000. Took $300,000. Okay, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. I wouldn't do that to a liberal. I don't give a shit who you are. I want nothing to do with that. And not company I worked for, but companies that were competing with me at the time. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to do this myself. We're going to charge extremely low premiums. We figured it out. We have way better options. We give people the right, you know, insights and advice. And I love it. You know, I'm a huge fan of the precious metal. Like this year, for example, you know, we have the semi-quincentennial, you know, the 250th anniversary of America. Everybody should go out and buy the collector set. Even if you have, you know, it's going to cost you like $500. You know, if you got $500 to spare, I'll show you where to put it. You know, but I'm not a collecting agent. I'm not like a numismatic guy. I just do straight up gold and silver for people at the right price. I enjoy doing it. I help the Patriots. I love it. Gold and silver was a great savings tool for me. You know, I bought this stuff when it was way cheaper than it is now. So of course I'm a living testimonial of, hey, this is great stuff to get into. And prices are still low. I think they're going to get much higher. But I enjoy it, and I love the community. I want to help wherever I can. I sponsor, you know, a lot of events. I donate a lot to different charities that are obviously vetted. I do whatever I can, man. I'm not trying to get rich off the back of some old lady. You know what I mean? And that's what these companies are trying to do. And that's what, quite frankly, and I hate to say it, but that's what separates me from these people.
Well, it's interesting that you had that sort of LA experience too. When I was in my 20s, I spent a lot of time in LA. I was in New York, but we had some friends in LA and we had some business we were doing. So we had business trips, so we could always go to LA. And with our friends in LA, we would have fun. But with us, the people in LA were so different. You know what they're saying right now, because Coachella is going on? Everyone who's in LA said, oh, it's great right now because the worst of LA all went to Coachella. Everyone's an influencer. I remember when I would go out and you'd catch up with someone from high school you hadn't seen in like a long time. and they walk up and talk to you like they're Steven Spielberg, and you can figure out that like they might have like a credit on some, like they're not a producer, they're not an actor, they're just sort of faking it, and you're like, dude, I went to school, I grew up with you, like I know who you are, like what are you? You're trying to
put on
convince me
some
you're, like,
act.
a producer? Like what movie? Oh well, you know it's in development. No, you what? It's like the movie Swingers. Like they're literally lying to you. I got East Coast representation. You know, like,
It's a town where very sad people. I learned, and I found myself there because it was like I realized that a lot of people go there and they're lost in life. You know, maybe I was at the time. You know, maybe when I got there, you know, I had some things to learn, and I did, and it was good to me. You know, LA was for the most part good to me, but the people there, like, you're not going to build any meaningful relationships. You know, I live here in Arizona now, and I have found out here that I have total soul family. I have the best people, the best friends. We got Michelle over here. You want to come and say hi?
I just want to say I love it when you get down like this. I love it when you get down.
This is Michelle. This is the ultimate conspiracy theorist.
It's not. I love it when this guy gets down like this. I love hearing the side of him.
This is Mark Messina.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
I love it. It's like we're having a Zoom call and we're sharing it with everybody now. I love it. I love it.
Michelle's been one of the people that's been spot on about Q, spot on about events. I mean, she will. You could have her on her. You know, you should come on the show yourself, and she'll absolutely blow your mind with some of the information that she's found. I mean, unbelievable. Mother Teresa. What, Mother Teresa came to your school when you were a kid?
The Pope.
You mean
Pope St. Paul, Mother Teresa. You know, you name it. We go way back.
Isn't Mother Teresa Anthony Fauci's dad?
Yes. And I believe my grandma Gertie was their father, mother, something.
Gosh,
Yep.
It's so crazy the history that, and you know, I found God a few years ago, and it's such an important part of my life. But I have to be honest about the things that we've uncovered, right? And it's just crazy how every institution and how many he, she's we didn't even know were there, and how they're all freaking related, and Castro and Trudeau and everybody else.
Yep.
It's mind-boggling, and that's what you have to have. Like, you have to make your friends. You have to find a group of people that you can trust, that you can depend upon. That's what I think really everybody in the audience is. It's more important than the gold or the silver. It's more important than anything else. Is find that support group, find that soul family local to you. And I'm telling you, you're going to be way saner for it. You're going to give up friends. Who cares? You don't. Those people will come around. You don't have to be an asshole about it. Just go and find your friends. We got a whole group of people out here by the pool. You know, we're hanging out. We'll let you go. We'll get back here. Thank you.
All right. It was a wonderful meeting you. Thank you so much. I know we did. Huh?
Now, Michelle's been unbelievable, and you know, she worked with Lewis and really helped him with his campaign early on.
Well, I think I think we follow each other, or maybe I've met her through Lewis. That's why she looks familiar.
You probably have. Yeah, Michelle was early on Lewis's campaign. I've helped a tremendous amount with Lewis. Like, we're all here to help each other, and you know what? It's like, here's how I break it down. I'm living in the new paradigm, right? I've got gold and silver. I've got, you know, the different cryptocurrencies. I've done what I need to do. I've got the George magazines. I've got the Kennedy. Like, I don't even care about money. I care about the relationships that I'm making in life.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the absolute most important thing, is the people you have around you, especially at this time. Get rid of these jokers. Get rid of these clowns. I'm telling you, it is so therapeutic. You will see the world so clearly. It's these people are more important than any dollars and cents you could ever make. These are. I have these people back till the day I die. You know, and I would suggest the audience, the people watching, do the same thing. Find your people. Find your soul family. That's the best advice, whether it be financial or anything else. That's the best advice I could give anybody.
Dude, honestly, and let's talk about that event you're going to, because the chat fam out there right now is already like, it's stage one of how people are meeting. And it's crazy. Like, you'll be in these shows, we get to know people, and then people will be chatting and realize that they live 5 miles from each other. And it's their first like patriot, like local friend in their whole like community. So it really is amazing. But the in real life events changed my life, right? It started for me going to the pit. I know it was the infamous Greg Phillips pit, but I got invited to
Go
that.
to these events. Yep.
And then the Reawaken tours, and I went to the GART tours and the Threadfest tours. And so I've been doing all the events. And so I put this up there again, just to remind people, So you have an event coming up next. You're going to be at the event next Friday in Long Island? Or,
Yeah, the Awakening Summit. Yep.
Is it Long Island or is it like Westchester?
Long Island, Lynbrook. I'm from Long
Lynbrook.
Island. I grew up there. So.
And what's that called again? I'm not.
The Awakening Summit, theawakeningsummit.org.
Yeah, theawakeningsummit.org, guys. If you're in New York or around that area, tri-state area, New England, you want to meet up with some patriots, a bunch of folks.
You want to stay at the hotel? If you want to stay at the hotel we're staying at, where all the speakers are going to be, let me know. We have a discount code for you. You know, I don't know what it is. You can call me on the number. Just call through the 888 number
back on the screen, 888
that Mark has. We'll give you. You'll meet everybody. You'll meet me. I'll introduce you to all the speakers. You know, I know most of these guys. I've never met Kerry. I've never met Brad Olson. Never met Derek Johnson. But you know, we're sponsoring the event. You know, it was funny. Donna and Elisa had put the event together, and they had us at this really shitty hotel, and I was going to sponsor that hotel, and I'm like, I called it the Suicide Inn because it's just this horrible place. So I upgraded us to the Allegri Hotel, which is real nice, real luxury. I paid twice the money, but I felt like I don't care about the money. I care about everybody having a good time, getting together in a nice setting. We're going to be right on the water in Long Beach, Long Island, not California, Long Beach, Long Island. And, I wanted to do it because I wanted everybody to just have a great experience. And to me, that was important.
It's so important, dude, especially it's so isolating in this movement. So I just want to remind everyone real quick. I'm not going to be able to make it next weekend back east, but I will be in San Diego next weekend. If anyone's around there, hit me up. I'm doing a Patriot in Life little sunset boat cruise with some friends. I'm sure you know most of who the people are. Some of them are podcasters. And then the following weekend, I'm going to be in San Joaquin for the California Governor. It's kind of part 2 of the California Governor Showdown. This one is called From Ballot to Breadbasket, and they're all going to be there. I think potentially even Bianco will come to this one. He didn't the last one. We'll see. But I'm going to be up there interviewing. So if anyone's up there, please come by and see me. And then May 8th and 9th, don't forget. And I'll put the email on the screen, events@parallel8.com. If you're interested in any of these events, email me and I'll send you the details. Some of them I got to get you on a list because they're private, but they're free. May 8th and 9th, dude, I'm speaking at Mary Crowley's event here in Vegas. It's Open the Heavens. She's going to be playing her new movie on child trafficking. Kathy O'Brien's going to be here. I'm so excited. We were texting today. She's changed my life, that woman. She's
amazing.
She's literally like, I don't know, one of those twin flame or something. Like we're connected. Like she has really helped me. And so I'm going to be speaking at that event, May 8th and 9th. It's free, but donations are requested. But if you want the VIP, dude, you know how much these tickets for a lot of these events are. The VIP for this event, it's a 2-day event, is $117, $117, of course. And it comes with meet and greet and meals included. So May 8th and 9th, email me if you can get out to Vegas. This is going to be my first time speaking an event like this. I spoke at Louis Herm's rally, but this is like an event, a 2-day event. So I'm really excited. I'm going to be doing some of my stand-up comedy, which is cool. And then the last one for everyone, May 23rd in Las Vegas, Seth Keshel will be here. I'm holding a private book signing party happy hour for him. And then everyone who comes to that's free, is coming with me, or if you want to Bobby Kahn, the Senate for Congress, the candidate for Congress in Las Vegas, who's been on my show. You guys know Bobby Kahn. I will be taking you all to his birthday bash, which is going to be pretty big, and I'll be able to get everyone into that. So email me at events@parallel8media if you're interested in doing that. All right, back to gold, because all right, here's a question. Okay. Who should not be buying gold right now?
Who should not be buying gold right now?
See what I did there?
The Fed.
Right. So
they're not allowed to. They're not allowed to hold the gold. So that's already done with. No, everybody should be buying it. Gold, silver. I mean, get as much of this stuff as you can. It's look, gold and silver is not a great investment. And you'd be surprised hearing gold dealers say it's not a great investment, but when the country is working properly, you want your money in the markets. You want you want a rate of return. But unfortunately, the country's not working properly. And when that's the case, right, even though we got Trump in office, it's not working properly. We're about to go through some very big transitions. you want a store of value. This is a time for a store of value. It's not forever. It's just to get. I always position gold. It's just a bridge. It's just a bridge. I'm not going to be doing this forever. I'm just a reliable guy. I'm in the community. People can trust me, right? You're going to get real advice, real prices. We're here to help. Okay, truly. This is just a bridge to get out of the system while this stuff goes down. How it's going to go down? Look, we could have a 3-day marathon show and talk about how all the different scenarios could play out. It's unimportant. The point is that something big has got to give. And when you're taking power away from the Federal Reserve that's had control over a monetary system for over 100 years, okay, and you have a deep state cabal, a satanic, disgusting piece of shit that's been running our country and has had a total grip over society and our minds, most importantly, our minds. This is not going to be just some, they're just going to go quietly into tonight. No, these guys are going to cause as much chaos as possible. And that's going to be very bad for everything other than, while everything else goes down, gold and silver are going to be going up. And it's a restoration, and it's going to be a restoration of trust, right? Because when people lose trust between their government, between people and their banks, how do you restore that trust? You're going to need something. You're going to need a tangible, something that people can see, hold, and feel. It's a no-brainer and something constitutional. It's written in our constitution: gold and silver coin, right? The American eagle.
So this is what I want to talk about now, because I need a section that I'm going to be able to clip to show to my father. And you and we talked about it on the phone, but I want to maybe either repeat or dive deeper if we can. I want to talk about the process of how you envision the Fed absorbing the debt, and then how the gold that's available is more than enough, because that's the part that folks like I said, sorry, Dad, I need to get my dad on board with some of my thinking, and you explained it the best. How that people in the traditional sense look at the amount of debt that's out there, and they look at the money supply, and then they look at the gold, and they don't understand how one can replace the other. So do you mind walking us through that?
Sure. So what Trump needs to do is he needs to call in the gold contracts that the Fed has, right? The Fed was never allowed to hold physical gold. They just hold contracts, and it's priced at what, $42 or something like that, right? So what Trump needs to do is he needs to go set the price of gold at like $30,000 or $40,000 an ounce, right? Then you have enough robust of a gold and silver market where these prices are high enough where the market cap can physically take over. Then what you probably need to do is you probably need to have Trump walk this country through a bankruptcy, right? You're going to probably need to draw this country, the corporation, the United States corporation, through bankruptcy. So you pay off the creditors, you make a deal with them, right? Everybody made fun of Trump when he was, when he was running in 2015, 2017. Oh, he went through bankruptcy. He's a crummy businessman. No, this guy understands bankruptcy. This is a skill set. By the way, this is my newly neutered dog right here he's just hanging here. He's got a little cone.
What's his name?
River.
River.
Black lady. You want to say hi, Riv?
Hey, River. My bell is
around. You're going to need Trump to get this precious metals market to some type of crazy market cap. So you're going to probably see gold and silver prices go through the roof, among other commodities and tangibles, whether it be real estate or whatever, oil, right? Oil that we have under our feet, and get diversity in the dollar. So once that, right, and it's so speculative because it's like people have a hard time envisioning this. No, what this whole Iran conflict really represents is it's really a war to replace the dollar, right? They're getting rid of this petrodollar that was created in the 1960s, 1970s, or 1970s. Right. It's to get everybody off this petrodollar, and then now you have a free market for money, and we're going to create something that the rest of the world is going to follow, because why? We're the biggest market in the world. We are the king of the world. The United States holds all the cards. So whatever we do, every country is going to follow. And what Trump's been doing is he's been undermining these previous deals with BRICS nations, right? Remember, we always used to hear about BRICS. It's like, oh, we heard about they're going to go to the Chinese yuan. No, that's not going to happen. Not going to happen. And quite frankly, in my opinion, I think President Xi, Putin, and Trump are working together so that at the end of this, it's all optics. It's all optics. there's going to be a positive solution so that China can thrive, Russia can thrive, Europe can thrive, the United States, everybody can thrive.
Everybody's going to thrive in this new economy.
Everybody's going to thrive.
I'm certain. That's why everyone's playing ball. That's why every world leader has worked together against their own states, because the future is bright for everyone.
Everybody. We're going to take these third world countries where, you see the kids starving and, this, that, and the other thing. There's not going to be hunger anymore. There's not going to be homelessness.
There's no reason there ever should have been, right?
Not only is there not any reason, but the fact that there was tells you just how sick and twisted these people are. There's going to be a glorious future, and I don't know, man. I don't look at money as just money doesn't run my life. We've done well, and thank God for that. And we can help people. We can host events. We can get people together and do that. But it's like I think money is going to start taking less importance in the future. And I think the future is going to be a really wonderful, glorious place where everybody can live well, everybody can thrive, and But I think right now, during this time, hey, if you could protect your money and hold on to it, and not take the haircut with everybody else, do it. Get out of harm's way. Wise man sees trouble and moves out of the way. And I would just recommend everybody just do the same. Get the hell out of the system as best you can, whether it be through your retirement account, IRAs, 401ks, right? Or just excess money you have in your checking or savings account. Get it into the precious metals and just let whatever's going to play out. We're not in control of this. We have great people. We have Q team. We got Trump. We got JFK Jr. We got the best of the best fighting for us right now. And be grateful for that, because the alternative, what good would money have been had Hillary won 2016? We'd all be dead. We'd be in nuclear war right now. So thank God that wasn't the case.
All right. So the government, the Treasury will buy the gold bonds from the Fed, because the Fed was never allowed to hold physical gold. And you explained that they're going to buy it at the fixed price, which was like really cheap, right?
Correct.
Like roughly like
$42 or something, $43.
And what's it currently at?
Close to 5,000.
Right. So they're going to buy that. So there's already one big piece of arbitrage where
huge arbitrage
for people who are asking, like, where's this money come from? They have to understand all these little intricacies. So then we now take the gold from the Fed. Where is the gold actually stored that the Fed has on paper?
That would be probably Fort Knox, right?
Well, I get maybe that's why the whole Fort Knox thing came up. Remember when we were supposed to go, but we never did.
Exactly.
Maybe it's just full to the brim.
And what do we know from the Epstein files, my friend? What do we know? It's not there. It's empty.
Well, that's what they're saying. Who knows, right? I feel
we need to call Nick Shirley.
Is going to raid the tomb of
Nick. We need you and your long-haired, bearded friend from California. We need you to go film Fort Knox. We're going to let you in. You're going to record this. Exactly. That's what we need to do. Call Nick Shirley.
Nick's a great guy. He's got enough on his hand. Can they send 8-track, aka Mark Messina, over there? I just got this new little wireless microphone with lapel and everything. I can sneak right into the vault. Like I'm nimble. I can crawl, dive forward, roll.
I love it. I love it. I think it's great. And we know from the great Jan Halper Hayes. So I got a chance to meet at Threadfest a couple of weeks ago in Dallas. She's such a wonderful woman. I was so honored to meet her. But we know from her 2023 interview from August, Trump got the gold back. So he's holding it. He's going to put the politicians on blast. I said this for the last year. He's going to put the politicians on blast. Where's the gold? He's going to create a stir, right? Everybody's going to freak out. That's going to bring interest and a spotlight on gold to say, hey, this is important stuff. He's going to reveal that the politicians squandered it, sold it off for payouts for themselves, sold out their country. High treason, punishable by death.
Yeah.
And then Trump's going to turn around and be like, I got it back. Don't worry, guys. I got you, America. And hopefully by then, people. I think that's going to bring the psychology that gold is money back into the forum. I think that's going to make people realize that, hey, we need this. This is a national security issue. This is our country.
All right, so one of our chat fam out there, Q Mom, asked me to ask you a question.
Q Mom,
and I'm curious. Q Mom's great. Everyone's great. So if the IRS is going to close, Like, first of all, do you think that'll happen? And what would the potential paths to that happening look like?
The IRS goes, I don't know. It's a great question, Q Mom. I mean, I can tell you this. Look at the ERS, the External Revenue Service. Do you know how much Trump raised last year in tariffs and new investment in business? Do you know the figure?
What was the final number? It was huge.
It's like 22 trillion.
Trillion, yeah.
22 trillion.
Yeah. And but that's just the external. That doesn't include everything that Nick Shirley is continuing to find.
Right. The fraud is separated, right? You get rid of the fraud and you bring in the revenue. Right now you just have $22 trillion without the fraud. Right. So I just want to point out, what does the federal government bring in every year? 4.5 trillion.
Right.
So what did Trump just show you?
Right.
Your tax money is irrelevant. It's just there. Right. You're paying to keep you enslaved.
So then I guess the better question, because you and I did discuss this, is what does the path look like to bankrupting and ending the Fed?
Exposing their books. Exposing what they really have on the books. The Fed has an on-balance sheet and they have an off-balance sheet. The on-balance sheet, I think, is about 20 trillion, somewhere in that neighborhood, right? Their off-balance sheet, my guess, $2 quadrillion.
It's insane.
So they don't have to tell you anything.
Of monopoly money, though.
Monopoly.
Right?
It's a joke. It's a total joke. So I think what we have to do is this is an exposure. This whole movement is an exposure operation. So what Trump's doing is he's doing what, Andrew Jackson did. He's exposing who these people are and what they're up to. It's like, at a certain point, even if you're the most hardened liberal and you hate Trump, it's like, okay, we'll go argue with $2 quadrillion. Trump didn't put that in place. That's been there since probably the 1980s. That has nothing to do with it. He's just here to show you. Don't shoot the messenger, as they say, right? He's the messenger. He used to say that on the tours or on the rallies. I'm the messenger. He's the messenger. So at the end of the day, he's just here to just show you, hey, I'm just here to help. I'm just showing you the truth. Whether you want to accept that or not, that's up to you, asshole. Right?
So what is the likelihood, because we did discuss this, that all of this debt can be passed on to the Fed as the mechanism? Because that's still the part some people in the chat were asking about earlier. I want to make sure we dive into it. That debt goes away.
This stuff gets above my pay grade. Yeah, it's complicated. This is why you have to go through bankruptcies, because you're going to have to satisfy creditors. You're going to have to satisfy bondholders, right? The average person, if we don't pay off the debt, you're screwing over the average American who's a bondholder in that debt. So it gets really complicated. And I agree with the question. Like, it's almost my question too. It's like, how are you going to do this, Trump? But I'm confident in the guy. I think he can do it. I believe in him. I've never wavered belief in him, and I will never give up on our president, ever. The answer to your question, I don't know. I don't know how he's going to do it. Something radical's got to change. There's going to be some factors that come in that just solve it. I don't know.
And to me, to me, and I know this is like just a very, layman's way of understanding it, but the money's not real, right? It's fiat money printed out of thin air. All of the debt is in a made-up currency to basically an institution that said, hey, we make money now. And so in my mind, why would you ever pay debt that is not real? There was nothing backing the money that they loaned. Therefore, it wasn't real. So therefore, we wouldn't owe it. But to your point, something has to happen that will look like official. And maybe it's the collapse of the Fed under the debt and the bankruptcy. And I don't know, but I don't see them saying, oh, by the way, we're just not going to honor that debt. I feel like
the Jubilee,
it looks much cleaner. He says, here's 30 trillion extra we had, debt's gone. But in reality, who knows what happens? But I feel like there needs to be a cover story.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to devalue the currency to make it easier to deal with, which is another case to buy gold and silver, because as that debt devalues, the precious metals prices will go up, right? Or at least they should, unless there's some manipulation, right? That's the way it's supposed to work. So yeah, I mean, this is again a great case for the precious metals, because you're going to have to devalue the currency so much, right? And as we said before, the conflict in Iran It's to get out of this fiat system. It's our way out, and this is the beginning of it. And what's interesting is precious metals prices haven't even moved. So I realistically think the white hats are probably in control of spot price. I think they're controlling. I think they're keeping it nice and low right now to give people a window of opportunity to say, "Hey, we see what's going on. We're watching Mark's show, and we see exactly what's going on. We understand. Hey, let's get into the precious metals." And if you do, I would recommend getting into United States coin. Gold American Eagles, silver American Eagles, basic stuff. Not the collectible nonsense, just the basic coin, because that's legal tender. That's stuff that will literally plug you into a constitutional system if and when the time comes, or should I say when the time comes.
Right. What about Iran? I hear lots of talk. I don't understand their sort of gold position and maybe even crypto. Like, is that playing into this? Do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything about Iran's gold holdings or crypto holdings or anything like that. I look at Iran as another North Korea, right? Just another deep state proxy that they were gonna arm with nukes, and they were gonna eventually nuke the United States with them. Wouldn't surprise me if the Ayatollah was still alive and shows up into court to testify against people like John Kerry and Barack Obama. Wouldn't surprise me if that were the case.
Right.
As far as the conflict, I think it all traces back to Israel. Look, my grandparents on my dad's side, they died in the Holocaust. Whatever that Holocaust was it Khazarians, right? Nazis? Who the hell knows, right? We're going to learn in time. But, Israel is a very corrupt state. Not the people of Israel, but the government. And they've clearly, and they're puppeteered by, of course, what? The city of London, right? So it's proxy on top of proxy on top of proxy. So I think what Trump is doing right now is he's exposing, I think we're in that phase of saving Israel for last. And eventually it's going to expose the city of London. And people will get clarity on who the true enemy is. And then I think once the world, whether you're Jewish, Catholic, Christian, Muslim, whoever, once you understand who the true enemy is, we can all get along. I don't care what your faith is. I don't care who you worship to. Why would I care?
Right.
Why would you care? Why would anybody care? It's like, believe whatever you want to believe. But at the end of the day, at least we have some semblance of society where it's like, okay, we know that these people have been screwing us our entire lives. Why don't we change that? Why don't we fix that? We can all agree on that. And I think that's the great opportunity to move us in a direction where we can all go, where we go and we go all.
Absolutely, dude. You actually just said something that really ties in with kind of my theory of what's going on right now, where so many people are mad at Trump on all sides. You just said it. Everyone needs a common enemy. And so we've brought that common enemy front and center here in America. So everyone's focused on it. So as soon as they do the big reveal, like you're talking about, it's going to be magic. Trump's going to sit here and be like, I'm the enemy. And everyone's going to, and it's like, psych. And now everyone was so hyper focused on a common enemy, and they got it wrong. So one, they're going to feel guilt. Cognitive dissonance is going to shatter. And then that guilt will turn into conviction for like, oh, I'm so sorry I blamed you for it. We hate this guy. We hate this guy. And I really feel the switcheroo is coming, and maybe sooner than we expect.
Way sooner. I love how you just articulated that. That was absolutely perfect. That's exactly right. People are going to come together and screw political parties. Who cares? Like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm living in the new paradigm already. I'm done with the old system. I'm not living there anymore. I'm over here. I think you and your audience, we're already there. Let's just button up our situation. If you have gold and silver, great. You've probably done very well. If you haven't, go to a local dealer, call us, whoever you want to, just get your hands on the stuff. Doesn't matter to me. We want to help. We want to make good recommendations. Obviously, if you come to us, you support the show. But hey, nothing wrong with going to a local dealer. I think local relationships with the gold or silver shop, as long as they're reputable, it's a great idea. Just get involved in this stuff and start thinking about converting your money to this stuff, and then cover the other bases. Get a gun, get ammo. Get the storable foods. It's not, you don't have to worry about.
At the end of the day, I obviously, everyone here is part prepper, right? And of course I am, but I don't think we're going that direction. But at the end, it's like rock, paper, scissors. Lead and steel always trumps gold.
Exactly.
I take your gold.
Yeah, people give me these doomsday scenarios. They're like, Matt, what am I going to do with my silver when everything goes down? Am I going to trade it for things? I'm like, from chaos comes order. It's not going to be your gold.
Dude,
You're going to hold on to that.
have real utility. We're in a technical era where it's going to be needed.
Your best form of barter in a time of, like, let's call it the 10 days of darkness, right? Your best form of barter is not going to be gold and silver. It's going to be like a case of Jack Daniels and a couple cartons of Marlboro Lights. You know what I mean? That's your barter material, right? In other words, Trump has a whole new system planned for us. This whole thing is already in the works. It's been done. You know, I think we are truly watching the end of the movie. Speaking of which, if you watch the JFK Jr. Love story that John F. Kennedy did,
got it queued up, and
did you see a cameo? Did you see Jr.'s cameo?
I saw the cameo, dude. That's him. That is, come on. I'm sorry. I think everyone watching this, is on board with us. But if anyone outside of this community is watching, sorry if you think it's weird, but he's alive and he was in his own movie. He was in his own movie, and it's great because you know what? We're gonna need star power. This is a war of hearts and minds. Yeah,
and when you understand that,
the great uniter, why would you go on ice for 40 years? Because you're literally going to be the great uniter that both sides are going to love. What's the plan after Trump? Hello.
Yeah. People have no idea. It's like, what if we lost Trump tomorrow? What if Trump really was assassinated? What would you do? What would you do? You wouldn't do anything. This country's not even. They can hand us this republic right now. No one would even know what to do with it. You know, and the people are not ready yet, and that's why we need a big scare event. That's why it's probably going to come in the form of a financial scare event, because no one gives a shit until it hits them in the pocketbook. They can see babies dying in Uganda, and no one gives a crap. It's when they get hit in their own pocketbook and their ability to support their own family gets affected. That's when they care, and it's unfortunate because really, we should care about all this stuff. But at the end of the day, those are the forces that unfortunately motivate us. We're a very money motivated society where we live in vanity culture. And quite frankly, I'm sick of it. It's disgusting. I live a basic life, sure. I like, certain things. I treat myself to certain stuff and whatever, but I'm a pretty basic dude. And I think everybody needs a real humbling, a real awakening, if you will, to ground them for maybe a couple of years where life might get a little bit simpler, but that might be better. And I think I'd enjoy that more than what we have now.
It's just crazy. You got me thinking about, Musk has said, the future without money. And I think it's coming, maybe not so soon, but they're planting the seeds because it's relatively soon, and people have to start really thinking in a whole new paradigm. It's like at some point, maybe gold and silver don't even matter anymore. Maybe there's so many computers, right, that all the gold and silver is used on all the data centers and it's not even a thing anymore. And then we're on a fully crypto, totally moneyless. Who knows? But you just have to have faith at this point. One thing that you and I talked about, I'm thinking maybe it might benefit people in the audience if they're in the same situation I am, where I talked to you that I did make a smart decision to put a lot of my money in gold many years ago. One of the things that my broker, I won't say the firm, but you can guess the biggest firm that gets it all wrong. When I lost, I can't even tell how much money I lost by not shorting Twitter back in like 2020 or whatever. My broker, I said, listen, I want to short Twitter. How much money can I make available? Let's just all in. Oh, no. Our corporate says, don't do that. The next day, Twitter dropped like 40 points or something. But the thing is, I got paper gold, right? And the concern, a lot of people are like, you get it off the paper. Well, I have it at least, and I have the money in my account for it, which has obviously saved me through the COVID years when I lost my business and everything. That did real well. So, but if anyone else is in the situation that I'm in, where maybe they don't have an IRA, but they have paper gold, like what's the good path to get that out of there and get gold without, getting hit with capital gains and all that? Because I don't want capital gains. The gold,
no way around it.
Like 5,000 now, and it was at like,
there's no way around it.
I don't even know what it was at when I got it, but it was
yeah, it's unfortunately you're going to get, you're going to probably get a tax bill, if you made some gains, whatever you put in, you're going to get taxed on whatever the difference is between, whatever you put in and whatever it is now. And great, you did well, good for you. You got exposure to gold price. You did great in it. But I think it's worth the tax bill,
To
my
get it out
opinion.
and get the physical gold.
Yeah, you want it in your possession. You want the stuff physically. You want, as I said before, you want United States American Eagle coinage. That would be my bet. And I have no financial incentive. Hey, if you wanted just a gold bar, I'd make the same commission no matter what. Doesn't matter to me. But if you went and saw what I buy, it's purely United States coinage. Purely. I wouldn't do anything else. Why? And I will say this under disclosure that I'm not an accountant. I don't give tax advice. Don't listen to me here. But from what I understand, and other gold dealers throughout the country that I know, reputable guys that I talk to and I do business with and I buy from, you came in with $1 million of gold or silver eagles, okay, because it's already legal tender, you wouldn't pay taxes on that.
Right.
Right. Physical gold. You came to my store with $1 million of gold, okay. You wouldn't pay taxes on $1 million of gold eagles, where you would pay capital gains tax on $1 million of gold bars or any other foreign coin, any other product out there. So sure, a gold eagle might cost $100 more than, let's say, a standard bar. Okay. What's that worth to you when you have to go pay capital gains taxes? What's that worth? 30%, 40%, depending on your income.
Right.
So I tell people, this is why it's very important to deal with the right person in this stuff, is that you need to know kind of the rules before you buy this stuff, and you really need to know what you're getting into. And I'm probably the only guy out there that pushes this stuff. Why? Because it's not as profitable as all these other companies that do all these, private coins and they mint their own stuff. Oh, this stuff it's rare. It's one of 1,000. This is going to become a rarity, so you'll get the gold price plus some rarity aspect of it. You're going to do no. It's all bullshit. Now, granted, I will say this doesn't apply for IRAs, because anytime you pull out of an IRA, it doesn't matter. You're under IRA guidelines and you're going to pay taxes if you take a distribution. So I just want to be clear that even if you're in gold eagles or silver eagles in your IRA, anytime you take a distribution, you're going to be taxed. So I just want to be clear about that. But I just tell people this because it's very important when you look at this stuff, you get a much better buyback on American Eagles. Plus, it's cash money. It's constitutional. So, if people, want to have a conversation, give me a call. I'll explain all this stuff to you rather than, put people to sleep on your show right now.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And then Q's mom says, if the IRS goes away, won't capital gains go away too? Listen,
they would.
I mean, I've met more people.
What a day.
Through this community that just don't pay taxes. And you're like, oh, you stopped when you found out about Q. They're like, no, I haven't paid forever. Like, and it is, you obviously, if they've been doing it a long time, you have to plan to be outside of the system. But, I listen, I think a lot of this stuff goes away. I think the things that remain are going to be part of a new, how do I put it? Like an incentive-based, a performance-based society. Because if we don't have money, sure, everyone's going to have a better quality of life, but you still have to have incentives for people to be performers, because we want scientists and we want musicians and we want artists and we want culture and we want podcasts, especially podcasts. So there have to be some form of, an incentive structure based on performance to get the best out of humanity. But while people are performing and moving humanity forward, let's just say a Star Trek type of a thing, maybe, I don't know. The rest of the people, there's no reason they shouldn't be living their best lives. In fact, people who want to get ahead, they're the other people who just wanted to enjoy it. They're really the audience. They're the backbone. They're the reason you do it. If there was no audience, would you perform? So it really isn't weird to think that there could be a future where money doesn't really matter and you have no reason not to have an abundant life, time to spend with your kids, time to pray, time to put your feet in the lake and just enjoy God's green earth.
Amen.
Right.
As I said earlier, money doesn't run my life. It's the people, it's the surrounding people that I have with me, family, friends, all that stuff. That's what's important. And, hopefully we can move away from this, vanity culture that we've been living in. It's disgusting. These rappers, they're just the worst, the absolute worst. And they've influenced these kids, especially black kids, into thinking that, hey, it's a get rich quick scheme if you if you start recording, and it drives them just down a path of degeneracy. And I pray that we can get away from this stuff. It's about time.
I hope you got a little more juice in you, because not a full second half, but I've got like another little segment planned. And our good buddy at News Trees and Dave, he got the days messed up, and he ran his interview with you at the same time, but that's actually ending any minute now, and he's going to be raiding the folks over there. So I've got enough stuff for us to sort of entertain those folks when they get here. If you got a little bit more juice in you,
sure, let's keep going.
So one thing I skipped over earlier that I was curious if you had an opinion on is BRICS and sort of how that played out, because again, it's sort of above my pay grade, but to me, it just looked like a Trojan horse. It looked like the Brer Rabbit, like, don't throw us in the briar patch, don't destroy the US dollar, whatever you do. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. What do you think?
I think BRICS was, they played their hand first. In other words, we got to see what they were going to do first, China specifically. So they were going to back their currency by gold. So Trump probably looked at it and was like, yeah, let's get all these countries on board, let them make their deals with China. Well, what wound up happening with trade deals with China and these other nations? Trump completely broke them up in the first part of his presidency.
Right.
He effectively isolated China in trade. He took all these countries, made better deals with them, and they're still going to get a gold-backed currency. So really, I see it as China will benefit because, of course, they want to have a Chinese-backed yuan. And the United States wants to have a gold and silver-backed dollar. So there's the common interest. But Trump had to pull away the trade partners, isolate China in the process, and at the same time, allow those countries to make whatever deals they thought that they were going to make. It was all preempted. They did this way too early. Now Trump's here at the last minute. He's in the 11th hour, and he's completely renegotiating everything and undermining everything China was trying to do. But I still think he's going to allow China into the fold. I think he's going to still allow. I think Trump wants every country to thrive. I think he just wants competition, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I feel like, there's all the different theories, like, we'll control the Western Hemisphere, China will control that part, Russia can control this part, and stuff like that would be cooperative. Let the big superpowers control their local regions, and then everybody can play nice with each other. Right. It's like the China thing, there's a CCP, and then there's the Chinese people, right? And it's just like we have like a CIA, and Israel has Mossad, and then they also have the good people of Israel and the good people of the United States. So I just wonder, what role like Xi is really playing, having him in the Forbidden City for dinner. And, it feels to me like China was the first implementation of the globalist New World Order, right? They got it fully there, those 15-minute cities. Remember during COVID, we learned that communities within a city, not a whole city, communities within the city were chained off, and you had to go to like the retinal scanner to get out of your own neighborhood. So they were able to lock people in their neighborhood. So to me, that was the plan for the whole world. And I don't think any Chinese people, and maybe even, a lot of their politicians, are really going to fight to keep that. What do you think?
No, I mean, I think it's 1776 worldwide. I mean, I think this whole idea of, mass surveillance and the Palantirs of the world, I think they're going to go to hell. And I think it's going to literally be what Alex Jones says, which is 1776 worldwide. I think the globalist deep state plan was to bring in, everything centralized. Well, Trump's going to decentralize everything and pass off American values and ideas to every other country out there. And every country is going to have to exfoliate themselves from their inner deep state. And, thankfully, we have a President Trump. Other countries are not as fortunate. We're probably going to have to go and help some of these countries free themselves. Venezuela, Mexico, Cuba, right? That's what we're doing in our own hemisphere. We're cleaning up our own hemisphere. But it's going to be up to the European countries. You might even see Russia come in and help some of these European countries free themselves.
Did you hear the theory on, I think it was Dave from X22 who said that, when this is all said and done, Trump's going to remove the sanctions from Russia, and then they're going to be selling their oil, and the price of oil is going to be so affordable. And I mean, it's literally going to change the industrialized world when everyone has access to cheap abundant oil, and everyone's drilling because it is a renewable fuel. It is not a fossil fuel. We all agree on that, right?
It's absurd. It's absurd. Yeah. I think this ends up at 0 point energy. I think oil is, look, you're always going to need oil for many different reasons. But I think that there's technology like 0 point energy that's going to come out that's going to completely blow away people in terms of, there's technology where there's, something in the size of a shoebox that can power an entire city for 30 years. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, there's this correlation between money and energy. And that's what the deep state was trying to do through climate change. They were trying to control energy, right? They controlled the monetary system. So all they need to do is get control of energy. You control the world. Mm-hmm. So what Trump's doing is he's going to take control of the currency, and now he's going to take control of the energy. I think oil is going to become obsolete in the next 5 to 10 years in terms of general, the everyday powering of homes and cars and this, that, and the other thing. I think we have a completely different world ahead of us.
Awesome, dude. I want to jump into some hot topics. And I also want to just say real quick, welcome to the Raiders from News Trees. And thank you, Dave, for the raid. This is probably the first of its kind, maybe in the history of Anons and Patriots and Rumble, to have people raiding over from an interview with Matt Geiger to an interview with Matt Geiger. But I just want to say, you guys, thank you for coming over. We got some more fun stuff to talk about tonight. So hang out with us for a little bit.
Thank you, Dave.
Do me a favor, as you're piling in, please smash that like button. It is the best way to help this channel. And I think what I'm going to do here as a just quick little break is I think I'm going to do another sponsor here real quick. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this right now. And I can't. Here's what I'm going to do, Matt. I'm going to put you. I'm going to put my face up over yours. And then your mic's still on, so just don't say anything, and I'll be back.
I'll mute it. How long we got?
Just like a minute, not even a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, Rumble's created this great system for us, so I just want to do this right now. And thank you guys again, Raiders. Please smash that like button as you were coming into the show tonight. But let's hear a word from Kalshi, and thank you, Kalshi, for helping me fund and run this show. Have you ever watched the news or a big game and thought, I know how this is going to play out? Instead of just tweeting about it, you can actually put those predictions to work with Kalshi. Kalshi is a federally regulated exchange where you trade on real-world events, not stocks. Think questions like, will inflation be higher next month? Will the Fed cut rates? Or will your team make the playoffs? Each market is a simple yes or no contract, priced between 1 and 99 cents. And if you're right, it settles at $1. That price is basically the crowd's probability of something happening. So if yes is trading at 75 cents, the market is saying there's about a 75% chance it happens. You can use it to hedge, to speculate, or just to put some skin in the game on what you already follow every day. And right now, they've got a special offer. Trade $10, get $10. Just go to Kalshi.com/rumble. Deposit and place your first $10 in trade, and Kalshi will give you an extra $10 to use on the platform. So if you've got a take, don't just post it, trade it. Go to Kalshi.com/rumble. and start today. That's KALSHI.com/rumble. All right, dude. I got to tell you, like, this Kalshi stuff is really cool to me. Like, I haven't used it yet. I think I'm going to just do my own offer because they're saying that Democrats are going to take the midterms by a lot. We all know, we're Q people. We know something is going to change. So, like, I feel like I got to bet on that. Like, how can you not bet on that? If the odds are so high today and you buy that bet right now, by the time November comes and it's totally switched, I feel like, I don't know. Feels like one of those things we were just talking about, like this future moneyless world. Like, is Kalshi some sort of like, white hat play? They're measuring everyone. It's going to get people's skin in the game. Elections could be starting to run in some sort of transparent like, I feel like it's a test run or a bootstrap of some future system we're going to use, or is it just somebody who happened to get federal regulation on a betting platform where you can bet on anything? I don't know. Have you ever thought about that? Because I'm definitely doing that. I thought
extensively, and I'll give you this example. is what if you bet on the 2020 election that Trump was going to win?
Right.
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 What then? So what do? Do you take back the winnings of the people that won? Is there some language that says, hey, if there's, it gets into a sticky territory because these Democrats are going to do everything they can to cheat.
Right.
They're going to do everything that they already won. You know, Trump's West Palm Beach County, they won that election locally. They've already won a whole bunch of elections to give themselves some phony momentum to say, oh yeah, you know, they're really winning. Everybody's really upset with Trump. So how do you negotiate that when everything's said and done? You know, if you were a winner and you said, hey, Biden was going to win and you won all this money, does that person have to give it back? It would seem to me that they would.
I mean, that's a that's a really good point. So to that, do you think that they're ever going to tell us about the truth of the Biden presidency?
They already have. They already have. Trump re-truth that Biden was executed in 2020.
Well, I'll say this about that one, and I don't mean to be whatever, but the Epstein files part there was a screenshot of a random like 4chan or 8chan poster. So it wasn't.
I'm talking about Trump's re-truth last year. He
Oh,
re-truthed himself.
The conspiracy theory.
He re-truthed himself.
Right.
So in other words,
so he's already told us. He's already told us.
He's already told us. Yeah, we already know. I mean, who doesn't know? That wasn't Biden. I mean, it's ridiculous. You know, the face falling off, you know, the mask back here, over here. I mean, come on.
That was the hardest one for me, dude. And I've been a conspiracy theorist since 2001. I go down every rabbit hole. I haven't seen real weather in my life. Every single cloud you look at, every single one of them is fake. And people thought I was crazy. And then Dave and I did a special and I did a couple hours on it. And everyone's like, all right, maybe you're not crazy. But then when I heard the Biden thing initially, I was like, no. This is one of those things to make us look crazy. Everyone's in a mask and it makes, but then I'm like, oh, wait, no, that's a thing. That's an actual thing.
Well, you know, he's using a green screen. I mean, think about it. What's the meaning behind the auto pen? The auto pen was to reinforce the idea that wasn't Biden in office. Everything was signed by an auto pen. Why? Because he was dead as a doornail. And there was somebody else running the show. So the auto pen was really, I think, first and foremost geared toward showing you that was not Biden. A very obvious clue that he left in time so that he could, you know, we could turn around and be like, oh, the auto pen. Okay, got it. Right.
Dude, I mean, honestly, do you sometimes just sort of say like, how did we get to be the lucky ones who get to live through this time in history? Because this is the most insane. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe every generation, maybe the Wild West, people were like, can you believe we get to live when you could just shoot people in a bar? Like, I don't know. Like, it feels like this is more significant than like 1880. Like, I don't know. Like, I can't believe we get to live through this.
It's fun, you know, and we're very fortunate because you, myself, this audience, we're awake to it. It makes it that much more fun. It should certainly make your life stress-free. I mean, I don't know why anybody out there is stressing, you know, as long as you've covered your bases, done your preparations. I mean, just live life, have fun. And, you know, I guess it's true. Enjoy the show, right?
Dude, it's absolutely insane. I want to ask you about some other world events now because I want to pick your brain. Let me do a quick thank you. I got a rant here from our good friend, Major D2 firing it up. He started a show over on Beer at the Parade's channel, and they're doing a very faithful show. I put it in the chat. I forgot the name of it, but I was in there this morning and supported their first episode. Go give them a follow over Beer at the Parade on Rumble. Thank you for the $10 Rumble run. He says, thanks for joining Beers and I's devotional to the Lord this morning. Much appreciated, brother. God bless you, this chat family, and the movement. Where we go one, we go all. Really appreciate it, dude. I mean, there's so many people like, you know, Abs and Stormy have done so much to really bring people into God. Beer is doing it now.
I know him very well.
I just think it's so. I didn't believe in God until 2022, dude.
I know Scott well.
He was one of the very first Anons that I met in real life. Oh shoot, hold on a second. Is that this? He gave me Major D2 firing up gave me a $49.99 crypto. using the Rumble wallet. Dude, thank you. Like, this is like, that's my third, like, I got my first Bitcoin through Rumble through a viewer. And it's just, I don't know, dude. It's like, it's meaningful in a weird way for me because Bitcoin, I have other things, but I never did Bitcoin. I felt like I missed it. And I did, you know, I knew it was going to do a thing because it's just a store of a value, no utility, blah, blah, blah. But I got my first one through the show. So thank you. It's
Congrats.
01063 XAUT. Gosh, I am not crypto savvy enough to know what that is. Do you know what that is? Or can you put it in the chat, brother, and tell me what that is? Thank you so much for that. I can't believe I almost missed that. That's, dude, this chat fam is just the best. These people have changed my life. I'm grateful for you guys out there. And just as a reminder, if you guys want to save some money and help me with the show with my merch, go to livid19.com, LIVID19.com. All kinds of new merch in there. The Digital Disciples merch from Absolute Storm is on there too. You can save 10% on everything in the store using coupon code Good Friday 10 at checkout. Still Greek Good Friday, you know, is this one. So I get to keep using that code. By the way, dude, do you see the name of my merch store? It's Livid19. Do you get it? Because like it was supposed to be a big thing during COVID, and then it didn't work out. And then I just
it's a good one.
You like it? Good one.
I love it.
Like my buddy in Vegas was like, we were having our men's lunch. We do it every Tuesday. It's a bunch of entertainers or entertainment industry people, because that was me before COVID and before all of you. And we do a Tuesday lunch every week, and they're the conservative people in entertainment. And my buddy's like, I got this great idea, and he made a one-off shirt, Livid19. And he was like, get it? And I was like, yeah, everyone gets it. It's brilliant. And he's like, well, I want to do a website and sell them, but I don't know. I'm like, dude. So we partnered up. I bought the domain. I built a website. We made Livid19 shirts, hats, phone cases. And everyone, I'm sorry, Las Vegas, if anyone's watching. Nobody in Las Vegas knew what livid meant. And people are like, is that supposed to say COVID?
You would think of all places they would know the word livid, but yeah, go ahead.
But so anyway, I had that site up, and then back in the days when I was going to Gart and, you know, seeing Abs and Stormy up on stage, our friend group would always have big ideas. So I'd just make a shirt and put it up there, and then we'd all buy shirts and like go to the event matching. And so then when I started my channel, I'm like, oh, I'll make merch to support my show. And I just already had the site set up. So it's Livid19.
It's awesome.
That's my story. One more thank you before we get into it. Our good buddy, Absolute Conviction 1776, a.k.a. Paul Fleury, a.k.a. Abs, with a $20 Rumble rant. I love your body, Larry. Great show, dude. I love yours more. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate you, dude. What a day we're having, dude. Man, I'm so glad we got to hang on Sunday. I'm so glad there's all these people with us. And I would be happier if some more of those people hit the like button. Thank you. And guys, if you're over on X and you want to join the party over here where the chat is lit AF, go to Parallel 8 Media on Rumble. If you don't know how to do that, go to 40kview.com/watch from your browser, and that will redirect you to my Rumble channel, 40kview.com/watch. All right, can we do like a what do you call it, like a rapid fire round here? I want to get your hot takes on things. So first one, Artemis 2, Electric Boogaloo. What's your take on the Artemis mission?
Bullshit.
Ricola bullshit. Dude, like it's so laughable. And it's a joke. Turned like half the world into conspiracy theorists.
It's great. No, I mean it brings up the idea of the original phony moon landing. I mean, it's fantastic. I'm loving it.
Dude, what's crazy is when I saw like those friends of mine posting Alex Jones, right? The people who used to love Trump and hate conspiracies, now hating Trump and loving Alex Jones. I want to be mad, but I realize that this part of the plan it's supposed to turn people, because it just turned you into a conspiracy theorist. You're now supporting the guy. It's turning the frogs gay.
Turning the frogs gay.
Which then RFK Jr. of course came out and told us atrazine turns the frogs gay.
Turns the frogs gay.
Makes them change genders even. Dude, we live in a crazy world. We live in a crazy world. What's your take on how it's going to play out with election fraud?
I think some states will have. I think Trump's going to bring us the paper ballots. I think a lot of states like California and New York, they're going to deny it, right? They're going to have very controversial elections. I think while that's happening, or before that happens, I think he's going to start dropping information about the 2020 election to start putting facts, hard facts, data, information into the minds of the people, right? So as the elections play out, people have that seed planted in the back of their head saying, okay, this 2020 election was completely stolen from Trump by Biden, right? It was done through these, right? They just seized 300,000 Biden ballots right here in Arizona, down at my state capital.
Just 300,000.
Yeah, just 300,000. Election decided by what? 11,000? Yeah, no big deal. Every single one's for Joe Biden, no big deal. So I think it's going to be a combination of educating the public about the facts, the information, while all at the same time letting them do what they want to do through the means they want to do it, and those tactics already being called out by previous elections. So I think the contrast between the two is going to make it very hard. And among other information, there could be other information that comes out about even elections before that. Who the hell knows? There's going to be this contrast of information that's going to start to wake the public up.
Dude, love it. Love it. That's exactly why I think it's taken so long, is because when they put these controls in place, but a few states, weasel out of it, and then the numbers switch everywhere in the country, like massive switch. But these other places try to say like, oh, look at all the Democrat, like it's just the contrast, Don't
forget about Tina Peters. Don't forget about Tina. Tina's going to be, knowing Trump's going to use her as a weapon. And, the move that they wanted to use against her, Trump's going to use against them on her behalf. So I think Tina's going to come in here and be a savior of these elections in some shape or form.
Tina Peters is an American hero. I got to meet her a couple times at events out here in Vegas, and she's such a nice woman, such a sweet woman. And then I think that after that, like she's at these events talking about it. After that, they put her in prison. Like she's going to have a hero's life when she's done. She's made her sacrifice for this country, and this country will take care of her. I'm sure of it.
100%. We love Tina. I get a chance to meet her, and she's one of a kind. And we're with her. We're with her all the way.
Yes, free Tina Peters. Oh, we've got heroes that are, there's so many unexpected heroes happening right now, and their sacrifices are literally changing the world.
Yeah, sometimes I sit back and I think about, the operators that might have died in the dumps, the wars in the deep underground military bases, people that we've never heard of yet, faces we've never seen. But I always kind of get up every day and I think of those guys and gals, whoever they may be, and God bless them.
Absolutely. All right, so we're pretty aligned on the first two. So Epstein files, I'm betting we're aligned there. What's your sort of overall take on where this goes, but starting with what Melania just did, giving her little speech?
Well, I mean, all she did was just say, hey, these are false accusations, and if you want to keep up the false accusations, I'm going to fucking sue you, No.
Melania, when she made her little speech and she said that we need to have the people, the victims need to be able to give testimony to Congress.
Yeah, that was part of it. But in other words, they were trying to say that after the fact, they were trying to say that, what's she hiding?
Gotcha.
Right? What was she hiding? It's like, no, she's saying, let these people have their day in court. We're supporting the victims, and you're going to hear from them. Right? And the media wants to twist it into, she's just running cover for herself. She, and they start making up these stories that she's somehow involved in these things. And I think it was a statement to say, hey, you want to make those accusations. Hey, Trump just won billions of dollars in lawsuits against everybody, media companies, including the IRS. He won $10 billion, right? You want to make false accusations. You want to play these games. We're just going to use law and order to sue your ass, and we'll just put you out of business. And we'll take your money and we'll donate it to a charity of our choosing. How about that? That's what she said.
How about them apples? I can't. The fact that the Democrats and the media and the leftists keep falling for these things where it's like Trump said one thing, Melania said the other. What's going on? It's like you're getting played. That's what's going on.
You're getting played for idiots. You people are idiots. You people are the dumbest, lowest forms of life on earth. And wakey.
What do you think is the truth about, Tucker? I mean, he seems to, everything he seems to have done has been, pro-Trump. And then now that he's doing this, you got people on, even on our side going, well, he was CIA and his dad's CIA and he's farm raised. I mean, it still all feels like just part of the show to me. But are we actually outing some infiltrators like Tucker, Candace, and
I don't think I like Tucker. I like Candace. It's the fog of war. As we said earlier, it's the fog of war. I think you need some controlled opposition. I think it can't just be, oh, we're all just united. That's how the Democrats run, is they're just all united in whatever cause, whether it be right or wrong, and it's usually wrong. But because they're united, it somehow makes it right. It's good that we have inner conflict. That's the way life should be. It's the way politics should work. People, Tucker Carlson should disagree with Trump. We should all disagree with Trump. We should all have our issues and think for ourselves. And I think that's the whole point of the exercise.
I like that. I like that take a lot. Now here's the fun one in the hot seat. Eric Swalwell. Have you seen the videos?
Yes.
Yes. He is so toast right now.
He's not only toast, but it tells you, you watch that video and there's a guy in the bed. Okay. It's not just him and the girl, but there's another guy in the bed.
There's another
So
guy,
what the fuck's going on there? Okay. What the fuck is going on there? And then there's something recording. Like, how many people are in the room? It's like, what they should do? And I thought of this today. I was just talking about it with my friends. Your audience is going to love this. And somebody out there who's got the AI capability, somebody needs to take the scene from Old School when he shows up at the beginning of the movie to his wife. He gets home from his business trip early.
Yeah.
And he finds out his wife is like into some really kinky shit, right? And he gets a ding at the doorbell, and the guy, he opens the door, and the guy, some nerdy guy with the glasses, and he says, "Yeah, hi, I'm here for the gangbang." Right? Somebody needs to input Eric Swalwell's face on that guy and just saying, "Hey, I'm here for the gangbang." I'm telling you, that meme will go viral. So if I had the computer skills to do it, it would already be viral. But somebody out there, go do that. I'm telling you right now, that is a winner.
Tools have the face swap, because I have so many AI tools now.
Do it. Somebody do it.
I think the face swap one I have requires you to it has to be your face or something. I mean, they'd probably let me do it, but then they probably cancel my account after I got it.
Right.
It might be worth it. Might be worth it.
Exactly. But I think that situation is going to give credibility to Fang Fang. I think it's going to dig up that story and start to have people start to, because, what does a story like this do? Is it chisels at the credibility of Swalwell, right? Who went out and, went on TV the other day and said, I've never done these things and I'm such a great person and I have my flaws and right? When that story about Fang Fang comes out, I mean, he's on the hook for high treason. I mean, we're talking about selling secrets to the Chinese. This is crimes punishable by death. You know what I'm saying? This is no joke, Eric Swalwell. These are crimes punishable by death. And I think we're leading toward in that direction, not for just Swalwell, but many others.
Dude, I mean, really, right? And everyone's so worried that all these people are getting away with it, but they don't understand the theatrical component to this movie we're watching and how we can't focus on 80% of Congress. We have to focus on one at a time. The dominoes fall. Schiff could be next, right after Swalwell. Who knows? But they're all going to get it. But I'm fine waiting to see it play out.
I love it.
He gets the allegations.
Let him sweat.
Dude, it's literally what Trump does. He says something crazy, lets the media go run for 3-4 days, get the mud all over their face, and then shows how dumb they are. He did it with Swalwell. He gets the sexual assault allegations. He comes out and says they're lies. Well, step one, we already know we're going to take the 1999 or whatever it was versus or whatever, not even that long ago. It's probably like 2015 or something, where he's talking about believe all survivors. And now he's like, don't believe her. So, okay, step one done. Step two, have a picture of you violently pulling a call girl onto you. But there's another dude's foot in the picture. Nobody even notices the other dude's foot because they're so looking at him. Being all aggressive with this woman, by the way, not his wife, by the way, a professional, by the way, being aggressive. And then part 3 comes out and you see the other dude in bed with him. It's like, dude, what's next? It's like,
what the fuck is going on?
Like, I mean, I gotta imagine if I'm Schiff or any of these guys, you're like, what are they gonna what plan do they have for me? Right?
It's great. It's great. It's brilliant. I'm enjoying the show, bro. I'm enjoying it.
Dude, I love it. All right. So we talked about people who might be in my situation where you've got a lot of paper gold and it's good right now, but maybe I mean, I don't want to hold on to that much longer, right? So I want to get that over, get myself some physical gold. What about people who have retirement accounts right now? How do they get that into gold?
So you just move it to a self-directed IRA. I mean, it's really simple. We facilitate it for you. We'll do all the paperwork and help you, figure it out. We could do a model where we build infrastructure.
So that's like a thing. Like that's a thing that the government has where there's a form to fill out to just take an IRA and move it into gold.
It's just you're moving IRA to IRA. It's really simple stuff. And it's we have a model where we can effectively make it so that we could help you store it locally to you. Like you could use an IRS approved depository. I think they're fine. I use them all the time. If I had any doubt, I would advise against it. Plus with the white hats in control, I don't think anything's going out these depositories. But if somebody wanted to hold, like I'm here in, basically Phoenix, I'm in Glendale, Arizona. We have a local vault here where I send clients to where we build infrastructure so that we can store it here locally, even though it's not an IRS approved depository, as long as it's not in there. You're not supposed to store it in your house. I mean, in theory, somebody could set up this infrastructure and store it themselves. You're not supposed to do it. I always tell people it's like err on the side of compliance. But it's up to you. You could risk an audit doing it that way. I would say, stick to compliance. Just do it basic. Move it to an IRS approved depository. You pay a couple $100 a year. Stores the stuff. It's in physical, right? You'll see the purchase that we do, whether it be through wholesale or through our own inventory, it gets shipped to a depository. It sits there in a vault. It collects dust. You know what I mean? These are security facilities.
Gold
These are not banks.
Baby.
Yeah. So down the hall from your gold and silver, people storing Picasso paintings or other valuables. It's a security facility. It's not a bank. So you're effectively, your gold and silver is not tied to other financial assets that if they go bad, now my gold and silver gets taken from it. No, it's completely independent of that. And that's the beauty of doing the gold IRA or silver IRA or platinum or palladium, is the fact that it's completely independent of the banking system. It's not, things could go down, but some people want it just a little bit more local to them. So, if that's a real concern, which, and I get it, if it is, we can handle that. We can usually find solutions that are pretty palatable for the client, I would just tell people, call me, we can discuss it. We can go over the different options. I'm very creative with this stuff. No one does it. And I don't say it to be arrogant. I say, I know this business better than anybody, and no one does it better than me in terms of giving people flexibility, different options that they can get comfortable with. I don't just operate with these cookie cutter models like these companies out of LA. Who the hell knows where your gold and silver is being sent? Who even knows if it's being sent? These guys could be running Ponzi schemes. Who the hell knows?
I always think about that. Yeah, I always worry about that. You can't
come to me. Hey, as I said on Dave's show the other day, the one that just ran. So you're getting the same the same commentary back to back. And I mean it sincerely, and I mean this with all my heart. But the Patriot community has been very good to me and my company and my people. I'm going to be good to them, and we're going to take care of them. And to me, that's the most important thing in this world, is making sure these people are taken care of. These are our people. This is our family. And I'm not going to let them down, ever.
Right. I like it. And honestly, and I want to make sure the audience knows, the community's been good to you, and you're paying back. You're being very good to us podcasters. So it's an honor to be working with you. And I want to make sure everyone knows, please, if you call Matt, the number on your screen, or if you go to Verity Metals, please let him know that I sent you, because Matt is definitely helping us podcasters to do this. You guys know I love this job of mine. So the more I can support myself on this, the more you'll have to see my face, unfortunately. So if you want to see more of me, go to Veritymetals.com or call 888-491-9908. It's on the bottom of the screen. It's also in the show description. That's my number, so he'll know. If you go to Verity Metals, you got to let him know. And then I think by tomorrow, I will have my own URL, so you can go directly there. And you're going to tell me about that, because this sounds like I don't know if is anyone else doing it. You're going to be able to actually buy gold right on the website?
Yeah, so we got held up a little bit with our merchant account because our merchant account that we have now that we take credit cards, it doesn't do online. So we had to search out somebody else, and we have the whole online store built. That's done. We just got to get the merchant stuff built in, and then you can just go on the website, create a username, password, and boom, you could be up at 2 a.m. tonight or any night of the week, and you can purchase gold or silver right there at that price, any time of day or night. Lock that in. And that way, it just keeps it simple for people, especially for smaller purchases. If you're doing bigger purchases, I would say give me a call because we can negotiate like a lower premium and things like that. But if it's smaller purchases, buying a couple $100 at a time, which we want to service everybody. We don't want to just deal with people that have hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. We want to help the little guy. We want to help somebody. Hey, you want 1 ounce of silver? We can help you. We don't want to exclude anybody. So it's important to me that everybody gets great service. And you can always call me. Hey, if I have time to talk to people, I talk to people at 10 o'clock at night. I'm always happy to talk to the audience. I've actually kind of gained a little celebrity here, Mark. I've got a little celebrity for myself.
Welcome to
the show. No,
I remember you
just
saying at Threadfest, I think, people were coming up to you. You're like, I'm just the gold guy. But that's the thing. Like, even the people in the chat, like when we meet them, you're like, oh, you're, and whatever the username is, like we're all famous to each other, and it's
fun, man. And you know what? It's like I'm just a gold guy. I'm just a normal dude. I'm just happy to be part of the community. I want to do a good job for people. I will do a good job for you. And if I can help you avoid mistakes dealing with these other jokers, man, I'm telling you, I just warn people. This is a totally unregulated industry. Okay, these people can charge you whatever they want, and they're going to pull the wool over your eyes. They're going to do every trick in the book to take your money, and there's no one behind it to stop it. There's no governing body, and that's why you want to. And I hate to put it like this because it sounds arrogant, but I don't say it. I say it out of honesty and truth. You're going to need somebody like me to direct you. You're going to need somebody like me to take care of you and do it right. And I feel great about it because at the end of the day, as I said on Dave's show, again, this could be another repeat, but my conversations with people from these audiences, it's not about gold or silver. It's whether Michelle Obama is a man or a woman. These are the conversations I have with people. It's more about fun and just relating. And I have the dream job, man. It's like I get to deal with the world's best people. We take care of them. You're going to have to buy gold and silver from somewhere. May as well be from us. But hey, if you want to go to a local dealer, for small purchases, go. Hey, support the local guys. A lot of these companies out there, local dealers, these are great guys. Nothing wrong with building a relationship there. I wouldn't be offended. But the moral story is get your hands on the stuff. I think it's going to be a great way to take your money with you to whatever's coming. And as I said, we could speculate on what that looks like. We could have shows for days, but I think we're getting close to something big.
Well, listen, dude, I mean, I think you're right. And I do think this protracted nature of all this, there's obviously lots of reasons to do it slow like this, but it's an opportunity for those of us who snoozed on these things, crypto, gold, silver, to still have an opportunity to get in, because when those bonds that the Fed holds for gold are owned by the US government, I mean, we could potentially see some pretty big jumps in the price of gold, right? It almost seems like I don't want to make predictions or make you say something you're not supposed to, but it seems like it should go way up again, right?
I would think so. Look, I can't sit here and I can't promise anybody anything. It could go down too. Do I think it's going? No, I wouldn't be in this stuff myself.
The whole world is going back to the gold standard. How does it not massively go up once it becomes the sort of backbone of global finance? But like, again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor,
there you go.
Just an anon digger trying to, plan for the future. Be part of it too. Even if you don't have a lot, it's just cool to be part of this. Go buy, if you don't do crypto, just go buy one XRP token right now. Be part of it.
There you go. There you go.
Be part of it. Let me do this, and then we can. We're getting close to 2 hours, so we can land this train. Let me do one quick ad read, one more thank you, and then we'll close this out proper.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. And let me do this thing again. Remember, your mic is hot.
I'll turn it off.
Ever feel like the phone is eavesdropping? That's because big tech treats every user's life like a corporate paycheck. It's time to stop being the product. Millions are making the move to MeWe, the place where private connections and online communities actually thrive. On MeWe, privacy is a human right, not a hidden setting. They don't track users. They don't sell personal data, and they truly believe in free speech. No shadow bans, just real conversations. Join the 21 million people taking their digital lives back. Click the link below and in the show description to get started. Use code WELCOME2026. That's WELCOME2026 at checkout to grab 20% off MeWe Premium. Thank you, MeWe, for helping to support this show. And then I also realized I missed another one from our good buddy, Major D2, firing it up. Also gifted 5 subscriptions to the channel. Dude, thank you tonight. That was very generous. He gave a rant, he gifted, and he gave crypto. I mean, thank you, dude. Really, really appreciate that. Make sure I didn't miss anybody else. I don't think I did. All right, dude. Well, let's wrap this up with sort of and it's okay. Like we could do the disclaimer stuff, like if you want to say not financial advice or whatever, but just 2 to 5 years down the road, like and not just gold, all of it. What do you think the healthcare system is going to look like? What do you think the financial system is going to look like? What are, what's the global economic impact outlook going to be?
I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know the ins and outs, but I think it's about taking care of people. And I think it's a lot simpler and a hell of a lot cheaper than what we've been led to believe. I mean, what happened when the Epstein files came out? 8 countries came out and claimed they had the cure for cancer? And there's a flip side to it. There's kind of a side that I find very sad. But I think we all know people that have died from cancer, things like cancer, right?
Yep.
Loved ones and people that, this whole time could have been helped.
You think it'll be a thing of the past?
Well, not only do I think it's a thing of the past, right? I think it's a parasite, and I think it's something that can be easily dealt with. I think cancer's going to effectively be the common cold, and by the time you're talking, the time period you're talking. But I'm saying the retrospect that people are going to have is that they lost their mother or their father or their child or whoever, their grandmother, grandfather. They lost them to something that was easily cured, that these people knew that cure was there. How sick is that? And I think there's going to be a reflection point in society where we look back and we realize this can't happen again. This just can't. And I pray that this motivates people to get more active and involved and in this community, because it's really only happening. This is the community to be in. There's no other community other than, let's call it the Q community, whatever you want to call it, the Patriot community, that's talking about this stuff. And I think when everybody understands what you're doing and what Dave's doing and what Absolute Storm's doing, Patriot Underground, all these different shows, hopefully these will act as, hopefully people in the future will look back at shows you guys did from years ago and get something out of it. It should be taught in schools. This is the stuff that people need to catch up to. And to your question, yeah, just to my point, which is, I think people are going to be very upset knowing that their loved one could have been saved easily and without the chemo and without all the bullshit in years to come. And I think that's going to have a big emotional impact on people. I think that's going to be a very, what could have been type of situation. And that's one of those emotions that I think people have a hard time to deal with, which is, I could have just done this, and it was these people that stood in the way of it. And I think that's going to be very beneficial. I hate to say it, but very beneficial for the movement and moving this country forward in the right direction.
Dude, amen. I love that. That's a great answer, because it's the Great Awakening is also a spiritual awakening. It's an ascension. It's a revival. I found God during this period. A lot of people did.
Me too.
And it's really about helping others. And it's about community. And I think we ascend. Listen, Adam Smith, he got part of the economic theory right, but he left the part out that John Nash, the Beautiful Mind, the Nash equilibrium, completed Adam Smith's work. Adam Smith basically said, every man for himself, and you'll get the best outcome. In logic, if you know how logical operators work, there's an and or an or. John Nash just said, every man for himself and the community. So when you add that to the equation, you're balancing like everyone doing it, but always keeping the greater good. And ultimately, get a little wacky here. I'll be diving deep in this next weekend with David Clements on the show. So guys, bookmark the channel and come back next weekend. But essentially, I believe that our souls are all part of a more communal place, right? And we're here living a human experience, which is designed to get our souls to remember who we are and to come back to working as a community and supporting one another. Right now, we're at a height of a revival on one side and the influencer egomaniac, megalomaniac culture. And they're both, like, if you look at what's going on in Coachella, I've never seen, more shallow, vain, self-centered, empty souls running around. And then if you look at the other side of the world and you see the TPOSAs popping up and churches are expanding and people are finding God and a return to traditional male and female roles, you've got this thing happening. And I think at one point the greed and the selfishness has to drop away and we all have to ascend together. So I love, that was not the answer I expected, but I just love that you said that, dude.
Thank you. Well, thanks for having me, man. A great show. And, it's our first one that we kicked off. I enjoyed it. And, anybody that wants to call, has any questions, whatever, I'm here, man. I'm just another patriot in the community. I just happen to be doing this business for a long time. And, I love our people, man. I really do.
Oh, real quick before you go, one of our good friend Jackie Bluebird asked, "Do you also buy gold if people need cash?"
Yeah, all the time, all the time.
Well,
I wouldn't be doing my job if I told you to hold on to it, right? But life happens, and people gotta sometimes liquidate for whatever reason, bills, maybe buy a house, right? Not a bad idea to if you're getting your dream house, hey, that's a good reason to sell gold. So, yeah, whatever you can handle, we can buy whatever amount you want to sell.
Awesome. So give Matt a call at 888-491-9908 or go to Veritymetals.com. And it says .co on the screen there. I made a typo. It's .com. And just tell them Mark sent you. If you didn't write that down, it is in the show description. And then just real quick, guys, you know the drill. If you want to support this show with the same healthy mushrooms that I take every day in my coffee, in my pills, they're on Bella's Food, all kinds of stuff for dogs, cats, humans, even horses. Pet Club 247 is my daily. I recommend it because I use it. Kristen and Kurt Ludlow.
Kristen and Kurt, they're great people.
They live in Vegas. They're friends of mine. They're faithful. We talk about God and pets. And Kristen told me every piece of pet food they make, she eats it. She's the pet food tester. It's all human grade. I'm like,
I buy their stuff too.
I understand. It's not like Laura Loomer eating cat chow. It's a totally different thing. Pet Club 247 is literally human grade food. So
no, they're terrific. Terrific. And when you see them, please tell them I said hello.
I will. And I get them on every so often. I just love them. So guys, go to 40kview.com/pets. That leads you to my page. Any purchase there of any size will get you an invite into my private pet community called North 8. So go to 40kview.com/pets. Of course, if you want to get my coffee, which has all your favorite influencers on different bags, go to Covfefe.coffee, not .com, Covfefe.coffee. That is mine. I've been saying for a while, I haven't done it yet. I am going to be deprecating some of those labels and putting in new branding. But these are classics. I made this like 2 years ago. There's a lot of work went into the FDA approval. It's all the best beans from around the world. And yes, there's some that are like mold free that people want, all the different levels of organic, all the layers. It's all on there. So go check it out. Reasonably priced, great coffee. I drink it every day. I mix it with my mushroom coffee from Pet Club because I like them both. And so I get the little flavor boost and I get my mushroom. Plus I drink a lot of coffee all day. It's always iced coffee if you see me doing it. So Covfefe.coffee. Again, if you want to support with my merch, go to livid19.com. And don't forget, right now, you can use code GoodFriday10 for 10% off everything on the site, including the Holy Ghost Army stuff, which the Absolute Storm guys and the Digital Disciples, it's awesome. I wish I don't want to run away, but I have the hat over here. It is so cool, the logo. If you guys haven't seen it, go to livid19.com. Check it out. You want to follow me? Go to Instagram at Mark Messina. I have a whole other life over there, and I'm open now. It used to be private. I'm letting everybody in to see. You can see my previous life on there. It's very different. If you scroll back, you can see me like joking around with Robin Leach and getting kissed on the cheek by Carrot Top. Like, I had a whole other life that nobody knows about, and I kept everything separate and private, and I am done. God says 365 times, be not afraid. And I said, I'm merging my lives. This is me, one me going forward. Integration is the theme. And if you want all of my links in one place, markmessina.com. And if you want to work with me, go fill out the form on the Parallel 8. It's all linked in there. I'm backlogged right now. I've got a lot of great Patriot clients, but we're on a rolling basis. So if you want to work with me, get in now. And then in a month or so, I'll be able to get you in. Go to markmessina.com. Every link in my life is there. Thank you, Miss Penny Lane, for being out there and helping me mod tonight. You are absolutely the best, and I love you. And Barb's a mod too. She's out there tonight. Thank you, Barb. And they work together with me. That merch, the Holy Ghost Army. It's so cool. You guys go to Live in 19, check it out. And then today we're going to play you out with Mr. Red, White, and Blue, because it feels like, Matt Geiger, this is your song, buddy. All right, you guys. Thank you, Matt, again for being here. I really appreciate your time. This was so much fun. Guys, don't forget, next weekend, David Clements is going to be on the show. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be 5D spirituality. He blew my mind when I saw him in Vegas a week ago, whatever that was. I think it was a week ago. And we just started talking. I was like, you're blowing my mind. Let's do this on air. So you're not going to want to miss that. And I may go live from San Diego with some familiar faces too, spontaneously next weekend, because we're going to be on a boat, me and the Patriot crew. So thank you, Matt. Thank you guys out there in the chat, fam. Love you all. And we'll see you next week. Cheers.
It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 strikes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's some handwritten letters from home. It's some sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. It's the red, white, and blue. Lay down, here's the light. It's the red, white, and blue. For these stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana to the golden coast of California. in love.